Hello everybody, good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome indeed from the beautiful Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for what is a bit of an historic moment, I'm sure you will all agree. Of course, this is the very first race of the TCR Europe Cup. We have got 10 cars on the grid, 20 drivers across 2 race events this weekend. My name is Paul Jeffrey, I am up here in the commentary box and I'm delighted to say in an increasingly damp and somewhat chilly grid, we've got Helena Pitchuk as well that'll be giving you all of the insight ahead of this first 25-minute race that'll be starting in a few moments' time. But as you can see on the sign at the top of your screen, we're at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. What does that mean? It means there's a little bit of rain in the air. Of course there is at the Ardennes Forest. This one has been declared a wet race, although I dare say everybody will be starting on slick tyres. We'll find that one out in a few moments' time. And a lot of you that have come from the world of TCR Europe will recognise many of the drivers on the grid this weekend. However, we do have a few key names. Our reigning champion, Jenson Brickley, is back for this first race, making his debut for RC2 Motorsports in the Honda. And of course, we've got 4-time Argentinian touring car champion, reigning TCR South American champion as well, Lionel Pania. He'll be in action tomorrow. His son Tiago will be racing today, and perhaps, just perhaps, we might have a little word with him on the grid. Let's have a look then at the calendar for this new Cup. We're a compact calendar. We're here at Spa-Francorchamps for the first 2 races of the season, and then we go to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia on the 18th to the 20th of September to round out our 4-race, 2-round campaign. Points will be scored by the drivers. I'll explain more how that works a little bit later on into the show. Slight nuances from what you've become accustomed to in the world of TCR Europe. And there'll also be a bit of a different starting procedure. We'll come back to that one, though, as we take a look at this mighty Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps track. 7 kilometres in length, 19 turns, 9 to the left and 10 to the right. There is a brand new track record, though, now. Alex Lee, a 2 minutes and 26.170, smashing the lap record by over a second, currently held by Felipe Fernandez from pole position, of course, last year in TCR Europe. Alex Lee picking up where he left off from round 1 of TCR Europe. It seems he'll be starting this first race from pole position. We'll come back to that one in a minute because you know Spa-Francorchamps, pole is important, but actually slipstream is very powerful on this circuit. Starting at the front of the pack is no guarantee that you end lap 1 in exactly the same place. We're going to be running under a rolling start this time for the very first time. Bit of a change of things in the way that TCR Europe normally does. This sort of thing, will that have a difference? Will that have an impact on how the drivers attack the start? I don't know. Right then, I believe we've got Helena down there on the grid. I've not quite heard yet, but let's see if we can head down and see who she's found.
Hello everyone and welcome to Spa-Francorchamps. It's the very first race of TCR Europe Cup, and here with me we have Lionel Pania. It's a South American champion. Hello Lionel, please tell us how it's to share the car with your son.
It's crazy, it's crazy. Since I was little, I dreamed to be here, to know Spa, the circuit. Imagine that now I am racing with my son. So for us, it's a dream come true.
Okay, perfect. And good luck for you. Let's come back to Paul Jeffrey and see the race.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Thank you very much, Helena, there on the grid with, of course, Lionel Pania, who, again, TCR Europe fans will recognise the name from his son Tiago that's making his debut this year. But Lionel, an absolute titan of touring car racing in South America and globally, it has to be said. 4-time Argentinian champion, reigning champion of TCR South America, which is an incredibly competitive series as well. Personally, cannot wait to see how he gets on. Starting race 2 tomorrow morning from 2nd position on the grid. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see what the 50-year-old Argentinian driver can do. That's tomorrow though, folks. Today is what we're all here for. I am sure you will agree. Big warm welcome to you all watching, wherever you are around the world, by the way, for this very first race of the TCR Europe Cup. So, before we have a look at the grid, which will be coming in a few moments' time, just to explain this one, it's a 25-minute race, 25 minutes is up, the checkered flag will be waved, points will be paid to all 10 of the drivers in this race. However, this is where things are slightly different. You can share your car. In fact, now let's come back to that one, because I'm hearing that Helena has got somebody else down on the grid. So let's head down to Helena Pitchock.
Yes, we have here Pere Gonzalez. So, Pere, please tell us, you have so much experience on this track, being the engineer of RC2 racing team. What is the key moment on this track?
The key is on all the tracks is the qualification. Unfortunately, this year is not our best qualification. Last year we was much better position in the pole. We had the possibility to be closer to the pole, but unfortunately the driver did a few small mistakes yesterday, and we are starting P5. We know that we have the pace, so we are going to fight for the race and try to enjoy a lot this weekend.
Okay, perfect. So enjoy the race, and let's hope it will go all the best together. And you have something to say?
Yeah, I would like to say happy birthday, Eric. Happy birthday. I love you.
Okay, coming back to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Helena, and of course, happy birthday to Eric as well. Hope you're watching this one and enjoying what should be a great race ahead of us. Right then, let's have a look then at who's taking part in this first race and where they'll be starting following qualification yesterday. As mentioned, there will be 10 cars on the grid for both races, and starting in pole position for BRC Racing is Alex Lee. Alongside him, Victor Anderson in the Monlau Motorsports Cupra. Good qualifying from Victor. He'll be looking to take his first win at this level. Sergio Lopez, new name in the field, starts in third position. Janui Park will be keeping him company, starting there in fourth. Fifth place goes the way of Victor Fernandez. Santiago Concepcion will join him in sixth position, the Icoa Racing Audi driver. Good session. We'll be looking to move forward, I am sure. Heading on down to seventh position on the grid, it is Nico Baldan, PMA Motorsports. The Italian driver has Tiago Pania alongside in the Squadra Martino machine, not Lionel, as mentioned on there. Lionel will be racing tomorrow from second on the grid. Then down in ninth place is Giacomo Prandelli. He'll be taking part in both races this weekend, as will Sandro Paletti for PMA Motorsports. Sandro starting in 10th position and last. As mentioned, drivers are welcome to share their car this weekend. That has been taken up by the majority of the field, with the exception of Victor Anderson for Monlau Motorsports, Sandro Paletti for PMA, and then Giacomo Prandelli for Icoa. They'll be racing in both races. They will score half of the points of the drivers that are swapping over. So in effect, if you win, you score 30 points, unless you're Victor Anderson, you score 15, or Sandro Paletti, etc., etc. Those points will stay with the driver. We'll head over to race 2 tomorrow. Different drivers will fit in the cars and they'll score their own points. At the end of the 4 races, whoever is the champion will be the one with the most points. Simple? It is, honestly. I'll talk to you more about it as we go on. But this is the first race of the season, and I love the simplicity of race number 1. We don't need to worry about points, weights, rivalries, dramas, nothing. All we need to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy what should be a great motor race. Racing again tomorrow morning, so these cars need to stay in relatively fine fettle. But these drivers are using this as an opportunity to get some track time, to go racing, and perhaps just put a line under their name as someone to watch in races to come. Someone to watch, by the way, we saw it briefly on your screen there. That was the RC2 Honda of Jensen Brickley, car number 246. Probably more used to seeing that one in Cupra colours of the last couple of seasons. Well, Jensen making his race debut in Honda colours. We'll be seeing more of Jensen Brickley in the 2026 season, I'm sure. But for now, it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see what our reigning TCR Europe champion can do in third position on the grid. There is the Squadra Martino Honda of Tiago Pernia there that you can see, the number 85 machine, the young man, very impressive on debut at Mugello for TCR Europe a few weeks ago. Let's have a look what another weekend's of experience behind him can do as he heads to this incredible circuit that is the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. As mentioned very briefly at the head of the show, this will be a rolling start, which will be a very new experience for several of these drivers. Fascinating for me to see a rolling start as well, I must say. In TCR, we normally do standing starts and these kind of things. That might mix things up a little bit for some of these drivers. There'll be An air of trepidation he feels in the air whenever there is anything new. And we've also got him in moisture in the air, so hey-ho, let's pile it on for these drivers. It's going to be a very, very interesting 25 minutes indeed. It's not quite wet yet. Reports from trackside feels relatively straightforward so far. Everybody's running those slick tyres, but there is an opportunity for a little bit of the wet stuff to fall from the sky and just spice this up another level, as if we need that one anyway, with 10 very hungry TCR touring car drivers and one very, very wonderful European venue that is Spa-Francorchamps. Before we get started, we're doing shout-outs. My in-laws are watching this one for the very first time, watching a TCR touring car race. So if you are still watching, big hello to you both. Hope you enjoy the race. I'm sure you will. I'm sure everybody here agrees with me. Touring car racing is absolutely, categorically, where you find the very, very best kinds of motorsport. And TCR touring car racing is just that bit better indeed. Beautiful scenes here then from Spa. You can feel the moisture in the air, can't you? Just from that camera shot. Definitely looking very Spa-esque, isn't it? Out there at this moment in time. Such a long circuit, 7 kilometres in length. It's often raining at one part of the track, dry at another. It's going to be a real challenge for all of these drivers. And remember, just 25 minutes, there's no pit stops, no aggregating times or anything like this. It's going to be a green two-checker race for our TCR drivers of the Europe Cup, the very first TCR Europe. Beautiful shot there, overlooking the final real braking event of this lap. The coup for a TCR safety car will peel off in a few moments' time, and then it will all be down. See Racing's Alex Lee to lead the field away in a rolling start 2x2 formation to kick off 2026 TCR Europe Cup racing season. Alex Lee has converted pole position to race victory once before in TCR Europe. And in Cup form this time. Alex, the outside line. There's Nick Taylor diving down pit lane at the back of your shot. The lights remain red. The car lit. It gets loud. It gets noisy. There we go. Green flag racing at the circuit of John. Outside line. It's around the stairs. 100 Jensen Brickley to the inside as well. The Solar Indigo machine trying to find a way past. First point of contact, the source hairpin. Everybody's and it is Englishman leading the way from Englishman Jensen Brickley. There is Park alongside the GoPro. Will they both make it to the run-up? Oh, Rouge, yes, they sensible driving from both drivers there. Fernandez having to go a little bit wide and offers an opportunity for Santiago Concept. Nick Taylor's up should fall very firmly flat in pit lane. PMA Motorsports going nowhere at this moment in time. Lee on the defensive. Look a little bit further back to under a lot of pressure. Good driving there from both side by side, then through the come. Jensen Brickley trying to have a little bit of a nibble at the back of Ali, the front of the pipe, but Lee strong to that charge, but look a little bit further back. There is Johnson Park to the outside line goes. The sunlight go. No room on this opportunity. And Jensen Brickley, welcome back to TCR badge competition here in the TCR Europe Cup. Very, very impressive from the reigning Europe champion. Remember, first time racing this Honda Civic Type R FL5. And Brickley under a lot of pressure indeed. Park looks to the outside line. Doesn't quite get it done. That's some great racing side by side, sharing paint, swapping wing mirrors in pure touring car style. But Park down the outside becomes the inside Brickley. He'll try and close if he can hold on all the way around the outside. He will have the inside liner. Yes, he does. Jensen Brickley, that's probably the hardest he's worked all year to hold on to that second position. But while he does, they are hemorrhaging time to Alex Lee. Alex making hay while the sun shines, just like we saw at race 1 in Mugello. Going as quickly as possible, as early as possible, to try and build up a gap, to try and break the toe potential of Jensen Brickley behind. And Jensen, for good measure, has a very, very enthusiastic Johnson Park climbing over the back of the Honda as we run now up to the bus stop chicane. We saw Brickley looking a little bit defensive. Park doesn't have the overlap, goes to the outside just to show the nose. No harm, no foul. And Johnson Park will have to work a little bit harder if he wants to find a way past. There's Victor Anderson. Wonderful Wonderful drone shots here at the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. Victor, bit of a slow start for him. 4th position though. You can start a campaign from 4th place. You can charge forward. Does the Swedish driver feel, and I've got a feeling, that the number 10 just about has the legs to buy into this fight if Jenson Brickley can hold on. There is the 97 up the hill. The compression at the bottom of the Eau Rouge is wonderful for Radion. At the top of the hill, the car goes light, tries to snap away from both drivers. Lovely and smooth there. And there is a lovely and smooth sight for Nick Taylor. Back out on track, but sadly competitive propositions well and truly in the dustbin. For the run then into Le Con, Tiago Pania, Jacopo Prandelli fighting each other very hard indeed. Pania still has the advantage, 7th place so far. The Argentine-American driver. Pania under a lot of pressure at this moment in time. Remember Prandelli, Jacopo Prandelli as well, another very exciting young talent. Debutant season, full season in TCR Europe in 2026. The young Italian driver just building experience, time in the car, understanding more about what the machine can do underneath him, and we're starting to see the inevitable pace that we know the Italian has. Prandelli is going to be a driver absolutely to keep an eye on. The progression rate over the course of 2026 in the main TCR Europe campaign. But of course, here in the TCR Europe Cup, we only have the 2 events, the 2 weekends in which to score the results. So for Prandelli, learning, yes, but for a race driver, see opportunity. Watch them go grab that with both hands as they fight their way through the field. Speaking of fighting through the field, Jenson Brickley has had more than enough excitement with Park behind and is now starting to gap the Solite Indigo driver. So Brickley, last time around, let's have a look at the lap times. 2:31.5 versus 2:31.8. Of course, we're going to have a bit of a cleaner lap this time, which will give us more indication of to the raw pace of these 2 cars at this moment in time. Alex Lee, no indication required, dominating the field at the head of the pack at this moment in time. The real fight, the real drama, the real excitement is this battle here. Johnson Park, Jenson Brickley, currently advantage to our reigning champion, but joining the conversation just behind this wonderful drone shots, Victor Anderson will very soon make this a 3-car squabble for the second set of the podium. In fact, right on cue, there is Victor, massively aggressive into La Source hairpin, and all of a sudden the conversation explodes, and there is a red Monlau Cooper, very firmly lights ablaze on the Swedish driver's car. Time to go, methinks. 2nd, 3rd and 4th position, all in the same shot, headed by Jenson Brickley, returning to touring car racing for this event. We didn't see him in TCR Europe this year. He's making his debut for the RC2 squad, the debut in Honda machinery, and he's painting his car to the inside line on the defensive. Around the outside goes Park. This is a great run from the number 97. Will he be given a racing room? Not quite. 2 touring cars into the space for 1. Does not go. And Johnson Park, despite his best efforts, has to have another nibble at the apple. And look at Victor Anderson. 3 wide we go for the run down into Brussels. Anderson, thank you very much indeed. Takes that one away. A little bit of contact as well between Conception and Park. Both drivers hold on, watching with bated breath on the Hyundai pit wall. And there we go. There is proof positive. Victor Anderson, Hunter Killer mode enabled, up into 2nd position. Park still in 3rd place, but a different car ahead of him. And Santiago Concepcion, nice and quiet, sneaks his way up there as well. Great stuff by the young Spanish driver. Very much seeing opportunity, taking opportunity, and his reward is 5th position for now. But that 3-car gaggle, I hear you say, has suddenly become the entire field. And there we go. Victor Anderson leads the charge now from Johnson Park. But just behind is basically the rest of the TCR Europe Cup competition, squabbling over their prospects of a bottom step of the podium. So where has Jenson Brickley washed out in all of this one then? 5th position. Not been a good few moments there for the British driver. And in fact, there we go. Under pressure from Felipe Fernandez behind now. So Fernandez, infinitely more experience in Honda machinery than his reigning TCR Europe champion driver ahead of him. Will he be able to leverage that experience into an overtake? We'll find out in a few moments' time as Park goes from basically Zolder to try to get to the inside of Victor Anderson. Doesn't get it done, but Victor Anderson caught napping, methinks, into the bus stop chicane. You don't want to pull that move very often, does Victor and Johnson there, but he holds on, does the Monlau Motorsport driver very, very deep into the source. That was an horrendous line through the opening corner, manages to get a good exit as we run down now into a route. So Anderson survives that one on that occasion. A difference in lines and techniques from the two drivers, but it seems to be working so far for the Monlau machine. This, though, is going to be absolutely crucial for Johnson Park. Slipstream at Spa-Francorchamps is your friend. He'll paint himself to the rear of that Cupra Leon VZ. Will Johnson Park, not quite close enough, I don't think, to launch an attack. We've seen at the bus stop how good he is on the 97 on the brakes. But on this occasion, Victor Anderson holds the racing line. There is no Solite Indigo Racing size gap in which for Johnson Park to insert himself. So he'll have to continue on, keeping an eye on things. In fact, I am hearing, yes, Jensen Brickley is in pit lane. That is not a bug on your timing streams, unfortunately, ladies and gents. Jensen Brickley from second position shuffled down unceremoniously into fifth place and is now in pit lane, unfortunately. So the number 246 Honda's day hasn't gone to plan. 10 minutes racing time, just under, behind the wheel, is not what the doctor ordered for Jensen Brickley. Hopefully that car gets back out and we can see a little bit more track time for team and driver. That's a real shame. Nick Taylor already peeling off in a pit lane at the start of this race, leaves 8 cars, competitive running cars at this moment in time, led by Alex Lee from Victor Anderson, with Johnson Park in that third position, just ahead of Santiago Concepcion, Felipe Fernandez, Tiago Pania, Giacomo Prandelli and Sandro Pilati, rounding out the cars that are running without hindrance, as Nick Taylor is still very much on the racetrack, but a little bit away from the rest of the chasing pack. Although saying that, 2:28.268 is absolutely the fastest man on the racetrack for Nick Taylor. So, case of what would be for the Canadian driver in this first race of the 2-race weekend here in the brand new for 2026 TCR Europe Cup. As Victor Anderson then leads the chasing pack through the bus stop chicane in second position. 15 minutes remain in this 25-minute race, the first of 2 races over the course of the Spa-Francorchamps weekend here in TCR Europe Cup. If you're watching this and enjoying it, well, trust me, come back tomorrow. It gets even spicier on second races. 8:05 UTC, 9:05 CET on the TCR TV YouTube channel is the time. And the second race, well, we're not needing to race again for a little while afterwards in a touring car. You don't want to miss that one, trust me. As we saw a very excitable line there through Eau Rouge. You don't want to do that one too many times for Radion. Right then, let's have a look as Alex Lee is pretty much doing an Alex Lee and walking away from things at the head of the pack. Let's have a look who's where and where the fights are over the last 14 minutes of this race. The gap between Alex Lee and the chasing pack is a touch over 4 seconds now. Domination once again from the BRC Racing Hyundai Elantra driver. Really strong performance this from our former TCR Italy driver, now racing in TCR Europe. There is the Nick Taylor car that we mentioned, back on track again and lapping very quickly, but somewhat detached. In second place, Victor Anderson. He's got a healthy advantage over Johnson Park. You can see it straight away there. Victor a little bit quicker last time around, a 2:29 flat versus a 2:29.4 for Johnson Park. So Victor Anderson now starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident behind the wheel of that Cupra. And let's remember, this is a driver. Oh no, not commentator's curse for Victor Anderson. Just as I'm saying that one, a very hearty lock-up indeed. Did he keep the car on the island? That's the multi-million-dollar question. There's Park. Ahead of us should be Anderson. And alas, Anderson is not. So Victor in some kind of strife, just as I'm praising the performance. The car looks like it's dropping down the timing stream, so I'm going to look in my mystic ball and suggest there's some kind of error that has led to a DNF there, some kind of issue, some kind of problem. There is the Monlau number 10. eyeballing for damage, and that does not look like a healthy front right-hand side at all for Victor Anderson. Heartbreak then for the Swedish driver. I was just about to say, he came over from the family-run MAGP team, campaigning a slightly older Lincoln Co. 03, and he had no luck. He's come to Monlau Motorsports, the reigning teams champion, and he has no luck. So Victor Anderson not working out so well. Unfortunately, he's limp. It's a sad sight to see the number 10 machine. We will be seeing Victor again. He is one of the few drivers this weekend that will be racing in both races, so he will be back in action again tomorrow. He's only eligible for half points, of course, having been a solo competitor. Well, what's half of nothing? Nothing. That's exactly what it'll be if he goes into a DNF. Real shame there for the very likeable young man. Focus attention though back to the racetrack once again. They're the gaps I began to tell you about. And there is Johnson Park and Santiago Concepcion. This is a great result for the young Spanish driver, Santiago Concepcion. There he is in the Audi. Still very peculiar to see Concepcion in an Audi. I'm used to him in a different car in years gone by, but he's starting to take to that one like a duck to water as Johnson Park, all elbows and arms, manages to save the 97 from a very lurid moment indeed. The more sliding you go, this is not the 1970s sadly, the more sideways you go, the slower you go in a straight line, and that is going to be very detrimental indeed to Johnson Park in his attempts to keep the challenging Santiago Concepcion at bay. And here is Victor Anderson. Thankfully for him and team, the Monlau Motorsport Cupra sadly hobbles back in a pit lane. There is the delaminated front right that we spoke about. We saw the lockup, didn't we? Didn't see where the car went. One can only assume the gravel. The end result is the same. Victor Anderson was looking very comfortable indeed for at least a podium conversation. Now sadly, he's back in the Monlau garage, and look at that one. That is not going to see much more competition, methinks. Quick change, make sure everything's okay. The team watch on. Disappointed, I'm sure you will all agree there. It's heartbreaking. You see when your car's back in pit lane when the race is still very much underway. But for Victor Anderson, hopefully he'll get back out some more mileage in a new team, and he can take that forward when we come back to Spa-Francorchamps in TCR Europe a little bit later on next month. Right then, pit lane dramas aside, what's happening out on the racetrack? Johnson Park from lurid slides just a few moments ago to an altogether cooler and more composed stance at this moment in time, running down. I love this drone shot, really is absolutely wonderful for the run down into the source. Such a long run in a race car. It feels like it's never ending, and all of a sudden the corner's upon you and you're scrabbling to try and get the best launch possible because you're flat to the boards for the longest time as we run up here, up through Eau Rouge, a little bit of a lift, and then a secondary one. Then, Alex Lee didn't like Eau Rouge whatsoever, decided to completely reprofile the corner, and that is strife. That is drama for the BRC Racing. Our race leader, Alex Lee, car number 30, from domination to disaster. There is the telltale sign on the front left. Alex Lee in strife. Johnson Park is your new race leader, and all of a sudden Santiago Concepcion opened the box expecting a cake and found himself a whole load of cash. He is enthusiastic, personified. In second place, Santiago Concepcion can taste his first race victory, as there is the very sad looking Alex Lee machine. He'll hopefully get the car back into pit lane again and a new set of boots, but from race lead, from pole position, from domination, Alex Lee is now out of contention, and it is a whole new ball game at the head of the pack. Johnson Park from Santiago Concepcion. Absolutely incredible stuff. I'm just hearing some really good information from my broadcast director. Thank you very much for that one. Observe the cars through Eau Rouge. We used to see a little bit of smoke, but there's some real bouncing the cars are doing at this moment in time. They don't look comfortable out there, and that could perhaps be an impact towards some of the dramas, shall we say, that we've seen over the course of the last couple of laps. We'll keep a pin in that one and keep our eye on it, because one thing that nobody is concerned about from these two cars at the head of the pack is anything other than fighting each other on the racetrack. This, folks, is for race victory for Santiago Concepcion. This is a massive moment in the young man's career. He, for the first time in TCR competition, tastes an opportunity to take a race win. Will the young Spaniard be able to grasp it, or will the ultra cool, calm and collected Johnson Park, we've seen how he soaks pressure up like a sponge. Can Concepcion do something about the number 97? This is going to be edge of your seat stuff, folks. Do not go anywhere for the next 7 minutes and 20 seconds, because mark my words, this is game on at the head of the pack. So with all of those dramas then, 7 minutes and 12 seconds left on the clock. It is Johnson Park who's still your race leader from Santiago Concepcion. Felipe Fernandez, Mr. Spa-Francorchamps himself, has now snuck up to the bottom step of the podium in third place, just ahead of Tiago Pania in fourth, Giacomo Prandelli in fifth place, just ahead of Sandro Pilate. And of course we saw Alex Lee, Victor Anderson, Nick Taylor and Jensen complete in strife. Right then, while we're watching this squabble, let's have a look at the smoke I was telling you about a little bit earlier on. Absolutely fabulous camera work there, brilliant stuff, and you can see just how aggressive the wheel and tyre are in the arch of the front of the car as it's fully loaded going uphill, and then you get to the crest, the car unladens. A beautiful section of corners, not necessarily the most visually gratifying thing in the world. Back to the future smoke coming out of the front of the cars, but clearly it's causing a little bit of problems here and there as we continue to watch this squabble. Last time around, let's look at some lap times. 2:31.1 for Johnson Park, 2:30.7 for Santiago Concepcion. Bit firmly between the teeth of car number 33, as there is Alex Lee. 3 wheels on me wagon, we do sing, and that is a real shame. Domination, it has to be said, for Alex Lee. This will be the last time we see him this weekend. He hands over teammate to the car to teammate in TCR Europe, Gabriele Corvini, tomorrow. And I dare say he's a very cool, calm character. He's a hard guy to judge sometimes, Alex. He doesn't have big highs, doesn't have big lows. I dare say he and family will be rather distressed after that one. It's always a sad way. When you do everything right, it just doesn't quite come to you at the end. Right. 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Let's take a moment to breathe, shall we, dear folks? Let's gather our composure and see where all the good stuff is taking place. Johnson Park at the head of the pack does seem to be a little bit more comfortable now, doesn't he? Since last time we checked in on the live pictures, it does seem to potentially be a car length and a half maybe, has been eked out over Santiago Concepcion. Let's have a look. The numbers don't lie. Last time across the line, start the 8th lap of the race, it was a 2 minutes 30.7 for Johnson Park and a 2 minutes 30.7 for Santiago Concepcion. Sorry, 2 minutes 30.3. So 5/10 of a second up last time around for Johnson Park. That could all get eaten away very quickly indeed with the slipstream if the number 97 is not quite as smooth as it needs to be for the run-up Eau Rouge. Good stuff there from both drivers. And the high-speed game of brinksmanship. Who will blink first? Who's the first to make a mistake? Ooh! Forget that one for a moment. What has happened to Pania? Tiago Pania was in 4th position, just behind the blue Honda that you see there of Felipe Fernandez. Well, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I can definitely tell you that ain't a Honda. So what has happened to Tiago Pania? Timing screens haven't caught up with themselves yet. I haven't seen a Tiago Pania looking type car flash past my screen, which suggests there has been some kind of drama. Hopefully we'll find out what is happening with that one. I'm seeing yellow flags at T19. That one doesn't flash particularly well. I don't know quite where that would be, but for Tiago Pania, not good news at all. That's a real shame. Yellow flag at T19 still continues to flash. So hopefully the Squadron Martino driver is back up and running before too long. That does open the door, though, to Prandelli to move into 4th position, and crucially for Felipe Fernandez to take all of the pressure away from the Spanish driver. All he needs to do now, really, is stroke that car home in 3rd place for the last 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It'll be a very well-earned podium indeed for the Spanish driver. Bit of a, as I mentioned earlier, bit of a master, to be perfectly honest, when it comes to Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And there is Tiago Pania's car. So there's the answers to what happened. That is the bus stop chicane. It's nowhere near the bus stop chicane, so quite wide the car, whether he's brought it to a stop because he needed to, or whether that is where the car finished at the end of the incident, I'm sure we're about to find out. Let's take a look. One, thank you, man. Almost collecting the back of the horn. That's a good bit of driving, actually, from Pania to gather that one together, and great view for those buying a burger in the burger van and enjoying the motorhome. Not great, though, for the Squadra Martino team. They are into retirement now. Alex Lee, believe it or not, after all of his dramas, still running in 6th position. That's worked out very nicely indeed. And a permanent yellow flag until the end of the race. In the bus stop chicane, 2 minutes and 14 seconds left. We've not really got much more racing left to do, it has to be said. So, can Johnson Park withstand the pressure? Santiago Concepcion Park is in drama. We saw the little wiggle as it was going up Eau Rouge. I think it has happened again to Johnson Park. Can you believe it? With 1 minute and 50 seconds left on the clock, this is the motor race that nobody wants to win. Johnson Park crawling to a halt with dramas. Car number 33, Santiago Concepcion, take a bow. Young man, you are now a race leader at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Devastating for Park. Watch. There was the little wobble. And all of a sudden, tries to turn in. It's like turning in on ice. You've got no front ender for Johnson Park. A very, very sad feeling will be descending in that Soulline Indigo Racing cockpit. There we go, front left once again on the 97. That's a real shame for Johnson Park. Heart goes out to him again. Inherited the lead, of course, from Alex Lee, who had his own strife. Several drivers in all kinds of bother. But at the end of the day, this is the rule. Not just in motor racing, in life. All the dramas can befall everybody else, but if you're the one standing at the end, the history books and the checkered flag only wave to the first one across the line, not the one that led until the final few moments. And the first one across the line, as things stand, is set to be Santiago Concepcion. I dare say he is going to be completely off of the brakes, the throttle, the curbs. I'll be able to drive this car quicker, basically, is how delicate and gentle Santiago Concepcion is gonna be for this one. 23 seconds left on the clock. If he takes it nice and steady, he might be able to make it to the line before the checkered flag waves. But Santiago Concepcion will be hearing noises that have never existed. We'll be feeling bangs, bumps, and all sorts in that car that just aren't there. This is a very, very, very big moment indeed for the Spanish driver. Let's ride with him then through the bus stop chicane for the final time, for the very first time. Santiago Concepcion will be accelerating to the checkered flag and takes victory in the first ever TCR Europe Cup round 1, race number 1 here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. He came, he avoided the dramas, he was millimetre precise, and the reward is a very first race victory for young Spanish driver Santiago Concepcion. An incredible performance for Icoa Racing and Audi as they take victory in the first TCR Europe Cup race 2026. Incredible. Fantastic stuff then from the young Spanish driver. Felipe Fernandez crosses the line in 2nd position. Giacomo Prandelli will round out the podium finishers in 3rd place for his first podium in TCR. Great stuff then for all 3 of our podium finishers. Sandro Pilate is classified in 4th position, and then it's, of course, the walking wounded, led by Johnson Park, Alex Lee, Victor Anderson. Nick Taylor classified in 8th place at the line. Thiago Pania, unfortunately, ends his day in the gravel trap, so he will not receive a classification and not cross the line. Jensen Brickley still in pit lane. Well. That was fun. That not so much. That was disappointing. And unfortunately, I think, for Johnson Park, he hands over the car to teammate Janui tomorrow. Bit of head scratching there for Soullight. It was very much a case of what could have been, unfortunately, for the Korean squad. But what does not kill you makes you stronger, they say in life. And I'm sure that they'll take all the learnings they can away, not just for race 2 tomorrow morning, but of course when TCR Europe comes back to the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps. If memory serves me correct, I've not written it down. Is that about the 17th of May? Off the top of my head, you'll be able to find out on the TCR Europe website, of course, social media. Sorry, a bit of an oversight there from me. Haha. Right then, TCR Europe Cup. First race in the history books, over and done with. Am I going to be not too controversial in posing the question that we enjoyed that one, folks? I most certainly did. Absolutely fabulous stuff, and a great victory as well. Santiago Concepcion stayed out of trouble, stayed out of the way of the dramas, looked after the car, looked after himself, and it was a very, very good race victory indeed. So Santiago Concepcion is doing the very slow celebratory run back to the pits. Let's have a look at the provisional race 1 results. Santiago Concepcion, after 10 laps, is 4.2 seconds to the good from Felipe Fernandez. Giacomo Prandelli rounds out the podium just ahead of fellow Italian Sandro Palatti in 4th. Alex Lee, classified despite the dramas, in 5th place, just ahead of Victor Anderson in 6th. Junsung Park, the tragic tale of Junsung Park, leads to a 7th place finish, just ahead of Canada's Nicholas Taylor in 8th. Thiago Pania, unfortunately, is a DNF, as is Jenson Brickley. The hens his return to TCR Europe competition in the pit lane following dramas for his new Auto Club RC2 Valles Honda. That's the 10 cars. They're the finishing positions, all provisional as always. Of course, in a few moments' time, we'll enjoy the podium celebrations as well. There's Elena straight away there with the camera. Try and capture the moments too. Lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely stuff. And I dare say, when Santiago Concepcion makes his way around, because he made a bit of a boo-boo, didn't he? Coming in pit lane where he didn't need to. It may be a while, but there is Felipe Fernandez taking a bow. Mr. Spa-Francorchamps, 2 pole positions in a row in TCR Europe at this venue. He is absolutely mighty around Spa, and I think he's just proven that one in race conditions too, with a very nice 2nd place. There is Prandelli, first podium for him. He's a very nice young man as well, really discovering he's always raced, discovering this kind of TCR car. It's a lot newer, it's a lot more competitive, it's a lot stronger than what his career has allowed so far. But for Prandelli, he is absolutely rising to the challenge. Right then, we've also got another victory to celebrate as well, and that is the Race Tigers International Trophy. That is going to go to drivers that have, I'm going to read you the exact wording on this one so I don't get it wrong, who've not won a race, not finished top 5 in the standings or top 50 in the world rankings by the start of the year. Several drivers have got the Race Tigers International classification. Santiago Concepcion, of course, being the key one of that, and he finished in 1st place, so he'll take 2 trophies home. Not a bad day's work, is it, for Santiago? You have no trophies, take 2 at the same time. Fabulous stuff, and there we go. Icoa Racing celebrating their first win as well, of course. Really, really satisfying day. 1st and 3rd position for the Italian squad. There we go, teammates hugging. Love to see that, don't you? Really great sporting moments here. I'm sure our Elena will be ready to grab a couple of words with our race winner in a few moments' time, and I'm sure that Santiago will be absolutely euphoric, because these are the moments that you spend your entire career working towards, aren't they? When you go for the victory, when all of the hard work, the sacrifice, the time, the effort, the money, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the engineering debriefs, the good times, the bad times, all of those flavours are what you bake together, and this is the end result, and trust me, it is absolutely delicious. Right then, let's go and find out firsthand from our race winner, as Helena down there has Santiago Concepcion.
So, win here for Santi Concepcion and Icoa Racing. Santi,
hello.
How it was for you? An amazing win.
Yeah,
Tell us a few words.
Well, I was watching from middle of the race to the end. Many drivers were having punctures, trouble with the tires, so I managed to try following Park in the Hyundai, but keeping the tires fresh. So that was the idea. Finally, it worked. I put a bit of pressure into him, so he can miss a bit of mistakes and break his tires finally. So yeah, we are P1, nice. But now we have to repeat it for the TCR Europe in May.
Okay, perfect. Whom you dedicate this win?
My father, for sure, and all the team.
Okay, congratulations. It was an amazing win.
Thank you very much.
It really was an amazing win indeed. And of course, Santiago will be using that one to continue a very impressive rise in the young man's career. Very talented young driver. Expect to see a lot of him at the front of TCR fields around the world in years to come. Right then, seems like a good time to take a look at the highlights, doesn't it, of the race we've just enjoyed. So let's have a look at some of the key moments from the very, very first race of the TCR Europe Cup. We started then under rolling start conditions for the first time in TCR racing, and it was Alex Lee at the head of the pack that stole the march on the chasing pack. But Jensen Brickley was one of the big early movers up in a second position. His first race in Honda colours going very well for the reigning TCR Europe champion. An attack on the outside of Alex Lee would come to nothing. That would bring a very impressive Johnson Park and Solite Indigo Racing into the equation. With Johnson there, the Jensen Brickley fight for the race lead would quickly diminish. Victor Anderson, ever the hunter killer, finds a way past and up into an early second place until, unfortunately, the first of several dramas would put pay to the number 10's afternoon, an early DNF. The problems would not befall everybody, though. Alex Lee being one of the key protagonists. Race lead into early retirement. That opened the door for several drivers to have their moment in the sun. Tiago Pania, unfortunately, took that literally in the gravel trap as Johnson Park's chances race victory eradicated with another tyre issue. That led the door for Santiago Concepcion and his first win of TCR Europe. Right then, they're the highlights. And to be honest, I think the highlights were pretty much the same race length as the race. It really was an absolutely fantastic one. Do not forget we do this all again tomorrow, of course, where we're going to be racing with some slightly different drivers in the majority of the cars, and that'll be at 8:05 UTC or 9:05 local time CET here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. They're not racing, don't worry. They're course cars going up Eau Rouge. That would be very dull indeed, wouldn't it? On your screen. A few moments' time then, we're going to be doing the podium celebrations of awarding our very first TCR Europe Cup trophies to very grateful recipients, I am sure, on the podium. Very first win for Santiago Concepcion. First win for Icoa Racing. Giacomo Prandelli, first podium position as well. And Felipe Fernandez, another understated, quiet, but impressive drive for that second position. And here we go. This is the podium ceremony. Our drivers will be. This is the hardest thing in the whole of motor racing. Shepherding 3 or 4 people onto a podium in a timely manner is easily the most difficult job in any part of the racing, including drivers. As we get ready then to celebrate what has been a highly successful first TCR Europe Cup race, isn't it? There we go, great drone shots. In a few moments' time, we'll welcome the first of our drivers out. In theory, at least. There we go. See Ruben Fernandez just waiting in the background. There is the round of applause. And there's our third place man, Giacomo Prandelli. Second place goes the way of Felipe Fernandez, Mr. Spa-Francorchamps, and your new race winner, Santiago Concepcion. Great stuff there, Icoa Racing, 1-3. It's time for the Spanish national anthem for your race winner. That'll mean a lot to to Santiago Concepcion to hear his home national anthem played for him to celebrate taking a race victory. An amazing, amazing achievement. You see Gabriel Alonso from TCR Europe handing out the third place trophy. Giacomo Prandelli. Ruben Fernandez, TCR Europe promoter, has the honours of trophy presentation to Felipe Fernandez in second place. And the winner's trophy, the one that we all come here for again, Gabriel Alonso. And this time, it is Santiago Concepcion that takes that winner's trophy. He's going to be very, very happy with that one indeed. Ruben Fernandez and Icoa Racing, their first team victory trophy as well. Big moment for Icoa Racing. And then to present the Race Tyre International Trophy for the winner of the RTI class. That does go the way of Santiago Concepcion, as mentioned. It should have been Manuel Vieira from RTI, our tyre partner of TCR Europe. But clearly we'll skip that one and gone straight for the champagne spraying, and why not? When you've already had one, what's the second one for anyway? Ha! Brilliant shot. Careful, drone flyer. That could be, wow, that's good flying. Good stuff. Great scenes. And an absolutely wonderful victory for Santiago Concepcion. He's going to remember this one. There we go. There's the trophy that we forgot, chaps. Good stuff there from Manuel. Avoid getting sprayed by champagne. Very impressive tactic there from RTI, always thinking ahead. And there's the final victory. Final trophy. Santiago Concepcion, family photo, of course. You can catch all the news, all the excitement, and all the follow-on stories from this race ahead of the second one on the TCR Europe website and TCR Europe social media channels, of course. Make sure you check those out. But for now, make sure you put a little note in the diary that we're back in action once again, 8:05 UTC, 9:05 local time, Central European time, for our second and final race of the TCR Europe Cup opening weekend here at the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. But for now, from me, Paul Jeffrey, and from the whole team, thank you for watching this first race. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.